All right. Well, three, two, one. What's up, everyone? I've got James Farrow on the line. He is an SDR at Arctic Wolf Networks. What's up, my man, James? How you doing?
What's up, dude? What's up, man? I'm feeling really great. One of my account reps has told me this joke that he uses. He's like, I'm staying positive and testing negative. So
That's
that's me, man, Mr. Positive.
that's sick. I love. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah,
Well,
right. It's a great one.
triple whammy. What are we drinking? How's your day going? What's something you learned today?
I am drinking these things. I actually just recently got introduced to these. It's the ice water,
Wow,
and
look
it's
at
got
this.
like zero sugar, antioxidants, vitamins, the whole
Dang.
nine. Right? We got a pretty fully stocked refrigerator and snack counter here at Arctic Wolf, so I take full advantage of that. So those things are pretty good, actually. They got my stamp of approval, and
That's
I'm
tight.
doing well, man. Yeah, I'm doing really well. Things are kicking off. The summer is a little slow here and there. You got your ebbs and flows, but it's picking up, man, and I'm having a blast.
Hmm.
And one thing I learned today is about real estate. Actually, I'm
Ooh.
looking to take a lot of the money that I'm making in the SDR role and hopefully in my next role,
Yeah.
and move that into some real estate. And so I was just kind of learning about how to seek value, rather than just kind of like buying something that's turnkey. How can you
Look
like
at
seek
you.
value between
That's
single
tight.
families and duplexes and that sort of thing?
Oh,
Yeah, man.
are you thinking about like getting an investment property or maybe something you could live
Mhm.
in and then rent out the other half or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of that'll be the start of my real estate portfolio. I hope it is a lifetime sort of thing. Though I'm really interested in it.
Dude, I'm all about the real estate as an investment career. I always say this to the people I'm always talking to. I'm like, all the people that I know that own real estate are not broke. Like the
Yeah,
people that have investment properties, none of them, I haven't met one yet that's broke. They're all really well off. So, like to me, that's
exactly.
just a sign that, if you do it right and you buy at the right time and you don't buy
Mhm.
you don't buy houses that, have really bad tenants, you'll probably be okay. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So let's hop in. I want to hear just first right off the bat, like, you know, um, what have been your numbers like year to date?
Yeah. So that my average across my last two quarters was 190% quota attainment.
Come
Yeah.
on,
So pretty
bro.
kick ass. Yeah, pretty kick ass.
Cheers to you, man.
Um,
Let's go buy some
yeah.
houses.
That's what I'm saying, baby. Let's get it rocking. But so that yeah, it's my last two quarters averaged out.
Dang.
Last quarter, I got the award for SDR of the quarter for the
Come
entire company, which
on,
is
dude.
really cool. Yeah, which is awesome, man. I worked really hard for it. I wanted it really badly.
Yeah.
Not ashamed to say that I'm always shooting for the top, man.
Dude, that's
So
sick.
I'm watching the leaderboards, rooting for everyone, but like always thinking of what I can be doing extra and working when people aren't and that sort of thing.
Dang. Well, I want to know like what are your keys to success, but first I want to dive into just give me a little bit of background like on who you are, how do you got into sales and like,
Sure.
what are you all about?
Man, well, how much time do you got? If we have a hard stop, man, I might have to keep this brief. But I started off, playing football. I ended up being the number one football player in Minnesota coming out of
Oh,
high school,
jeez.
and then went Division One. I went to Virginia Tech
Holy
on a
cow.
scholarship there. Yeah, it was awesome. I had every scholarship under the sun, flying in, want to meet me, and all that stuff. It was too
What
much for
position?
a 16 or 17-year-old. But I played cornerback, and
Oh,
then
you were a
I was
corner.
a
So you
kick
must be,
returner.
jeez. You must be hella
Yeah, all that
fast.
jazz.
What's your
I
what's your
used to be, man.
what's your 40 time?
I my laser 40 time when I first reported to camp was 4:43 at Virginia Tech, and I think I probably got a little faster than that, throughout that year, but we never
Yeah.
did like an official combine sort of test again.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, man, I had some speed, I had good size for a corner,
Yep.
but I got a bunch of concussions,
Oh,
and my
jeez.
career was over before it even really began. So
Dang.
that was a huge bummer, man.
How many years did you play in college at Virginia Tech?
I played one full season,
Wow.
and going into the next season, it was over, just like that. So didn't even really get a chance to blossom or experience it fully. But
Yeah.
I actually, dude, I
Sorry, dude.
googled. No, it's all right, man. I was sad at the time because you self-identify as an athlete, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, it's gone. Like my whole life was James, the football player, right?
Yeah.
So I googled farthest city from Blacksburg, Virginia, and I'm not joking. This is granted, I am like a teenager at this time, so still making teenager decisions. I'm a lot less
Yeah.
impulsive.
Yeah.
But I Googled farthest city from Blacksburg, Virginia, and it was Los Angeles, California, and San Diego, California. We're kind of like right
Oh my
there.
gosh.
It's as far as you could
Like
possibly
on a
get.
map, like literal,
Yeah,
literal
like
how
a
far?
distance wise, yeah. So I ended up applying to the University of San Diego,
No way.
the Toreros, and I got a little academic scholarship. I did pretty well in school at Virginia Tech. And yeah, dude, I'd
Dude.
never been to California before in my life.
Oh my
And
gosh.
first day of school was the first step into California. So that's how I ended up in Southern California for about
Wow.
5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Crazy. That's rad.
So the story continues a little bit. I ended up joining fraternity in San Diego. It was incredible. Lambda Chi Alpha. Shout out to my boys. And dude, but I was making music, like
Oh
just
my
kind of in my
gosh.
dorm room. But they would play it at all the parties, and it was like
No
it was hip
way.
hop music. It was fun. So I ended up
Were
doing
you
some
were you
shows.
rapping?
Yeah,
No
yeah,
way.
rapping, singing, the whole kind of thing. So I started doing some shows in San Diego, and all my buddies would come out, and it was kind of like a fun thing. I got a little bit of recognition, man, and this management group wanted to sign me, and they moved me up to Los Angeles,
Oh
and
my
so now
gosh.
I'm in LA. And I'm working with this management group, and like it's so cool. I'm around all these celebrities, and it was like it was a whirlwind
Yeah.
from it was like it's basically like whirlwind to whirlwind to whirlwind for
Are you
me,
still in
in my
college at this
life.
point?
No, no, no,
So
no, no,
you
no.
graduated or you just
Yeah.
left?
Mm,
Did
mm.
you
And I'm
graduate or did you drop out to go join the management company?
yeah, I left. I'd say I don't know with the transfer. I'd say I probably have like a year, maybe a little under a year, maybe like a semester and a summer left of credit. So my parents were not thrilled
Oh, dang.
about that decision. But I go up to LA, man. I'm it's like insane. I'm living out this dream.
Wow.
Sony Entertainment calls, and they're like, "Hey, we want to sign this kid to a record deal."
No way.
So I sign a record deal with Sony. They move me to New York City, and so now I'm in New York City, downtown Manhattan. Just signed a
Oh
record
my
deal, and
gosh.
like with all these like rappers that I'd looked up to for so long, and we're in the studio together playing my music. It's just this like insane to think about. So fast forward, went through that process, put out some music. I was on like all these radio stations and across the country doing shows. I decided to move back to Minnesota because it's just that's where my home is and all that stuff. And I wanted to like really lock in and make music here.
Yeah.
And so I started touring, but my home base was Minnesota. Working with a bunch of
Wow.
really cool artists. I did like 3 tours with Sammy Adams, who's a really good buddy of mine, and
Wow.
still to this day. And so I went from like doing national tours to getting a little burnt out after a couple of years, and just being like, man, like I want to go back to
Hmm.
the James that got the academic scholarship and all that stuff, and stress these new parts of my brain that
Yeah.
I've kind of been putting on hold. Right, I was just doing the creative side.
Yeah.
So then I decided I'm gonna get a job and try and kick ass in a new world. And so I joined Arctic Wolf 7 months ago, and
Wow.
yeah, and so now I'm here. I went through a 1 quarter, kind of on ramp, learning things and all that, and then my first full quarter, SDR the quarter, and now we're here today,
Oh my
baby.
gosh. So, wow, that's incredible. That's like, I mean, to go from like playing almost professional football, like D1 football, and you're like I mean, you're almost like a celebrity when you're on the football team, right?
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
then you go into the music industry. You're almost like you're kind of like you're a celebrity in the music industry. And so
Mhm.
you must have like this crazy um passion, but also like you're able to like take big risks in life, like and just go pursue
So,
dreams. That's like who I
yeah.
feel like you are. Dude,
Yeah,
that's
man.
crazy,
I'm
man.
super competitive too, like
Yeah.
in a really healthy way. Like I
Yeah.
just expect I'm competitive with myself,
Hmm.
and I like expect a lot. Like I expect to be great. Like I expect to be, on the top. I expect to be
Mm,
promoted early. I expect to be,
mm,
a top dog, and no matter what I'm doing. And I've kind of
yeah.
proven that out in all these different aspects of my life, even
Wow.
academically, sports, musically,
Hmm.
everything I've touched. I just hold
Yeah.
myself to a really high standard.
Yeah. So, what was it like getting into sales for you? Like, was it natural? Was it hard? Kind of walk me through that process.
It was a breeze, to be honest. Like I got super lucky because Arctic Wolf like
Hmm.
really built out an incredible kind of structure, an
Mm,
infrastructure rather, for me to like step into.
yeah.
So if I was just like set on my own or working remote,
Yep.
without having the communication and the team around me, I think it would have been a lot harder. But dude, they just do such a good job of just
Wow.
providing you with all the support. Everyone will answer the call for you. I mean, I could call our CEO and founder
Wow.
today, and he'd pick up the phone or give me a call back within a couple hours. And
Wow.
it's that sort of access to expertise and the guidance that we have from our management and our other SDRs. That was
Dang.
just like, how could you fail, man? It was like such a kick-ass company.
Oh my gosh. And so what has like been your key to success or keys to success, would you say?
That's a really good question. There's several things that kind of compound on each other that make success, in my opinion. But I'd say the number one thing, and it might sound cliche, but
Sure.
it's the mindset.
Mm,
It's having the mindset, having the expectation of yourself, and holding
yep.
yourself to a standard when you're alone, right? Especially now that we're working remote,
Hmm.
it's like it's very easy to just get by, and
Yeah.
like no one's seeing you putting in all the extra work or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's the mindset of like, yeah, I know what I want to do. I know where I want to go, and I know that I have to put in so much work and effort to get there. And so I just have maintained this mindset throughout my life of just working when nobody's watching, man. That's
Yeah.
probably the biggest thing.
So in the SDR role, like when you plan out your month, your quarter, and
Mhm.
you talk about mindset like that, like how do you like what does that actually look like? Because I've had some top performers on the show before talk about visualization and seeing yourself at the top. Um, Kind of talk to me about how it actually goes down in your mind.
Well, I immediately add 20 opportunities to whatever quota they give me, right? And I just kind of like hold myself. I'm like, this is the
Dang.
effort that we're going to be putting in,
Yeah.
right? Like that's kind of like where I first start is I'm like, okay, this is the quota that they expect of me.
Hmm.
So I know that I can do more than what they expect of me
Dang.
because they have no idea what I'm capable of.
Dang.
So I immediately raise my own like internal quota, and I share that
Okay.
with my reps, right? I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
hey, they told me my quota is 55. Like we're going 75, and if it's not 75, it's a bust. Like that's the
Really?
sort of energy that I
So,
put out, and I communicate that with my reps.
and that kind of sets you accountable. You're like bringing in accountability at that point.
Exactly, exactly. And dude, when you express what your goals are to people, like a lot of people try and hide their goals. When you express it, people are actually a lot more helpful,
Yeah.
and like, well, they understand where you're at and the work that you're putting in where you want to go. So they may reach out to you with some good information, or maybe they have a good lead
Hmm.
that if they thought you were just doing fine, they may not have brought it to your attention. But when they understand how ambitious you are,
Yeah.
a lot of people are a lot more open to helping.
Mm,
And then aside from like raising my quota like
hmm.
mentally, I'd probably say each quarter I talk with my manager and I tell her hitting my quota is one thing, but I want to do something remarkable. So
Wow.
each quarter, I'm like, I want to bring in the most opportunities in company history, right? Or I want to like bring in, like, source the biggest deal in company history.
Wow.
Like, doing something remarkable is always top of mind for me.
Hmm.
And so it's hitting my numbers one thing, and that's awesome. But like, is there a story? Like, what's
Hmm.
the story around it? Like, oh, he hit his number, great. But if you say he hit his number and he brought in more financial organizations to our company than anyone in history,
Hmm.
or he closed the biggest deal in company history, like, now you have a story around you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
there's a
sick.
narrative around this guy. Like, this guy kicks ass, and here's why. And a lot
Hmm.
of people hit their number, right? But spinning a story around yourself by doing something that's like never been done, or doing something where people are
Dang.
like, dude, this guy made 6,000 dials in a quarter or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
now that's something to talk about.
Yeah.
And so doing something remarkable is always top of mind for me when I'm planning out
That's
my
cool.
quarter.
That's cool. And I feel like that kind of plays into your past, like, being in the limelight almost, like telling that story, like putting yourself putting yourself on a pedestal and like expecting greatness.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Absolutely.
So how do you work out the mindset like day to day? Like you wake up, the SDR job's super repetitive. It's like pretty annoying at times. You got to do the
Yeah.
research, this and that. Like from a on a day-to-day perspective, like how do you map out or function or kind of walk me through the process of having a number one mindset day to day?
Sure. I'll do you one better. I'll show you what I do. This is my high performance journal.
High
So
performance
each
journal.
morning, yeah, each morning I'll wake up, I'll go through my morning mindset. So this is 10 prompts that kind of get me in
Wow.
the right mindset, and they're not necessarily about work. It's
Hmm.
like, what's one thing I can get excited about today? Like, who's
Hmm.
one person I can surprise with a gift or a sign of appreciation? It
Wow.
puts me in this like gratitude mindset, this mindset of like, today's going to be awesome,
What's
right?
this called?
It's a high performance journal. It's by Brendan Bouchard. It's
That is
incredible.
tight.
I actually bought one of these for a fellow SDR of mine he just had mentioned, hey man, I'm like struggling with a little bit of focus and this and that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I got a present for you. Wait till Amazon will have it here in 2 days, right? And
Okay,
so
so yeah,
yeah,
let's
it's awesome, man.
what else is on there? I love this. This is so cool.
So it's yeah, it's my message to myself for today.
Hmm.
Like, this message to myself was never miss a Monday. On this,
That's tight.
this is on the 17th. And then I have my top 3 goals and priorities for the day,
Hmm.
tasks that absolutely must be done,
Hmm.
a person that I need to lead or connect with well today and how to do it.
Whoa.
And so, and then it goes through like a time block of my entire day from when I wake up all the way to when I go to bed. And then I have the evening side. And then it's like a little scorecard of how I felt like I did that day. And I do this
Wow.
every day, every night.
What? That's so
Yeah,
sick. I'm either gonna. I feel like I should buy myself one, but
I would love if you would let me buy you one as a gift. It's not expensive. If we'll connect after this, it would mean a lot to me if you'd let me buy you one, to be honest.
no, that's so sick.
Yeah, dude, they're awesome. You'll love it.
I loved it. Like, they, okay, first of all, who'd you hear about this from? Like, did you just find it?
Yeah, I actually found it, and I've bought a few different copies for a few different people. I'm huge on like gift giving and buying books for people and things that I think will help them out
Mm,
and finding their path and finding their focus.
man, that's so cool. Because I love that you're putting an idea into action and you're like investing in yourself. Like you're literally going through the process of like buying something, which like most people won't do that because they don't want to invest in themselves like monetarily. But you're also like, I think the other component about this is really cool is what was the second question was like, what are you going to do for someone else? I think that's what like hit me the most was like if everybody on earth did this thing that you're doing, did the book, like would not we all be better? Would not we all be
Yeah,
better if like we did something for someone else and we like psychologically plan that out into our day? That's so
yeah.
cool.
Absolutely, man. It's My favorite prompt in there. That's definitely like one of my top ones. Is who can you show a sign of appreciation? I send out texts to people or send flowers to someone that I haven't spoken with in a while, or just different little things that are like, wow, like this person is engaged and locked into life, man.
Hmm.
But my favorite one is what's a let me look it up just so I don't butcher this. It is a situation that might stress me out or trip me up today could be, and then you write that out, and
Whoa.
then it says, then the B to that prompt is, and the way my best self would deal with that is, and so you're like anticipating
Yeah.
what could go wrong, and then you plan for how to actually deal with that in the best way possible.
Huh.
So maybe you're like, my coworkers are gonna probably distract me a little bit today because it's Friday. Like, how can you
Yeah.
deal with that in your best self? And this dude,
Mm.
it's so awesome. You're anticipating your future needs. It's pretty incredible. It's powerful stuff, man.
Dude, that's so sick. I used to journal a lot, and it was like more just like putting my thoughts down because I dealt with like some anxiety a while back, and like kind of like obsessive compulsive type behavior, and like journaling for me was like a great way to um express those thoughts and like get past some of the anxiety. But I haven't journaled in a long time, so I feel like this would be a really cool way to
Absolutely.
like, I don't know, improve self.
Yeah, man. Like, what's better than that?
Dude, that's so sick. So the mindset is obviously like, I feel like your number one thing. Talk to me about day-to-day process. Are you a big phone guy? Are you a big email guy? Personalization? Kind of walk me through how you're getting your meetings, how you're getting your opportunities.
Yeah, man. I'd love to. So I guess the first thing I do is kind of think of what my reps need from me.
Hmm.
So certain, like, I have 5 different account reps that I work for and I set meetings for. So I like to think of where they're at with their number. What do they need from me personally? How can I really like help them achieve their goals? And
Hmm.
I write that out like in my journal.
Hmm.
I have a rep named Allie. So like, Allie's doing this, da da da. She really wants to connect with a specific partner or really wants to bring in some financial organizations, right?
Hmm.
So I'll be thinking of her and I will go prospect on her behalf with her goals in mind.
Hmm.
And that's like how I really structure out where I'm going to be focusing.
That's
And
tight.
then when it comes down to like dials or email or LinkedIn, that sort of thing,
Hmm.
I don't really have like a strict plan that I hold
Hmm.
myself to.
Hmm.
But I work so diligently and so strategically that I feel like I'm constantly making a big impact, but it's not through
Hmm.
one specific medium or another. It's
Hmm.
like I need to kick ass for this, I need to kick ass for Allie in this specific way. And
Hmm.
so that means calls, LinkedIn, everything. I kind of have her
Yeah.
top of mind when I'm doing that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, that's
So I
cool.
don't have like, I wish I had like a blueprint to
Yeah, no,
pass
no.
along to people, but it's like, it's just a mindset, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it's mindset,
it's
it's
really what it is.
strategy.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. It's
do you
intentionality, man.
do you hold yourself to like a certain number of calls that you make per day or email, like any kind of volume?
I typically, when I first started, I did that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for where I'm at with things for the company I work for, in
Yeah,
the industry that I'm in, and then the times that we're in, right?
yeah.
Like I was like, I need to make 100 dials a day minimum every single
Mm-hmm.
day,
Mm-hmm.
and when that became less fruitful because people had left the office and then there was discrepancies between getting your phone calls routed to people's
Mm-hmm.
cell phones and that sort of thing, right? As it became less valuable, I held on to it still as like, this is going to work. I just have to continue on with the volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to make a pivot and realize like, hey, like I'm getting some connections on LinkedIn here. Like people
Mm-hmm.
are responding back to me. I send videos to people on LinkedIn, like just like
Mm.
this in my office. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey man, I've been reaching out to you. I just wanted to like put a face to the name, and
yeah,
like so it's like being creative in that sort of thing. But holding myself to a volume, I think hindered me from seeing the bigger picture and seeing what's actually going on and what's working.
yeah, yeah. When you get into the volume shop and you start hold, yeah, that can like really get away from strategy sometimes, I feel like. And it's all
Yeah,
about, at the end of the day, it's all about like what's producing revenue for you and like testing it.
yeah, exactly. And it's good to start off like when you first jump into this role, set a volume for yourself, like learn like the stamina that it takes to be a high
Mm,
performer, right?
that's
Like
cool. Yeah.
and like but then once you kind of like you're like, all right, I get it, I understand this is what it takes and this and that, you can kind of, be a little bit more strategic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, how much would you attribute like some of your success to like pure training that you've done like in the football realm? Like, coming in every day and like just working yourself like really hard. Like how much would you attribute to that and then also just to like pure like personal people skills?
So you're just to make sure I'm understanding your question, how much of it is like pure discipline that I've learned over my life versus how much is just like personality and kind of swagger and stuff?
Yeah.
Uh, I would probably say, oh, dude, that's a really good question because I never have thought to like break it down. Because for me, it's all kind of
It's
all one
intertwined,
person,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, I think the mindset. I don't know if it came from football or if I was successful in football because I had this mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like chicken or the egg. But I think that's more important than having the sauce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I,
But
I
also,
really do, dude. Discipline is
yeah.
everything, man.
But then also you have this career as an artist, and I feel like that is such an amazing gateway to like expression on the phone and expression via video
Yeah,
and like the swag. Like
yeah,
you're a very confident guy.
for sure. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot like some of that's got to come from being in the music industry too, which is like, I mean, those two backgrounds combined, I can't think of anything like when you mix the competition with the artist and the creativity, like those two backgrounds, I can't think of anything that would match that.
Hey, man, tell that to the hiring managers, man. I need you to write me a letter of recommendation, baby. Come on. But no, you're right, man. It's like having the person-to-person skills, and I've met so many people. I've lived like what feels like multiple lifetimes in all
Yeah.
these different places, and it's kind of like, I've learned how to connect with people and how to understand what people aren't saying.
Mm,
So it's like, for the people that are just really focused on the discipline side, it's
mm-hmm,
like, man, dive into the psychology side a little bit.
mm-hmm.
Look up like Chris Voss, like
Yep.
understand what people are saying, what are they not saying, what is their body language and tonality, and how can you
Mm,
connect with different people. And Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, again, empathetic listening, like that's really what's going to set us apart. Maybe not in the SDR role,
mm-hmm.
because it's very short conversations, but as you're seeking, getting out of this role and maybe becoming an account rep or an account executive,
Yeah.
um, having empathetic listening and being
Mm,
tactical with the way you pull information from people and make them
yeah.
comfortable speaking with you, so
Yeah.
important, just
No,
as
that's so
important as the
sick.
discipline of doing it every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's cool, man. That's cool. Where do you see yourself like in the like what does the career path for you kind of look like, you think?
I'd love to get promoted here at Arctic Wolf and stay at Arctic Wolf for quite a while.
That's tight.
Um, yeah,
Are
the,
you
the
thinking
leadership and the people above us are just incredible.
are you thinking closing rep as kind of the next path or management? I guess SDR management.
Definitely, I'm a hunter, baby, through and through.
Through and
So
through.
I'm definitely, I want to be what we call an account rep here at Arctic Wolf.
Yeah,
And that's, running your sales cycle. You're doing everything from start to finish, your own prospecting all the way to closing the deals. And so that's what I really, really want to do. And I think I'm going to
that's
be
cool.
really good at it.
Yeah. Well, I want to call this out. I feel like you'd be a really good manager too, because
Appreciate it,
I
man.
think like I think a lot of people talk about process and they talk about, how to do things, but they don't always talk about the why and the mental capacity it takes and really like improving yourself. Like it'd be cool for, and I don't know how many managers are doing this, but to really like dive in to the person that they're coaching and like break down like, you know, like what does their day really look like? You know, where do they want to be? Like one thing I've been thinking of lately is like it'd be cool if managers were just like so open to like ask you like a very simple question like, you know, what is your like what is your goal in life? Because like I don't know about you, but I mean I've definitely had situations where like the company I'm at or what I'm doing is not the long-term goal. Like the long-term goal might be to be like an entrepreneur someday or to do something that really doesn't involve the company. But I feel like getting stuff like that out in the open as like management and as an employee, like how can I help you? Like you're gonna better the organization. But if I know that 5 years from now, maybe you want to be an entrepreneur, maybe you want to own your own company, like if I invest in you in that way, because I'm investing in you, you're likewise just going to be a better employee because now there's a personal connection. It's not just, hey, James, I need you to hit 190% of quota every month. Do that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, I love that you said that about the management style. It sounds like you've thought about this, right? And like how you would prefer to be managed, or how you would manage if you were in that space or in that role rather. That's really cool, man. And I love that you're coming from an empathetic spot, right? Of like creating a win-win environment and incentivizing people based on what their needs are and whatnot, right? Because that's what we're
Yeah.
taught in sales is like find out what this person's goals are, what are their challenges, how can
Mm-hmm.
we help them. We're not just shoving our solution down their throat, right? It's like,
Yeah.
tell me what you need from me and I'll tailor this to you,
Yeah.
right? And now it's like there's synergy, right? I always use the word synergy. I try and create that in the relationships that I have and the people that I speak with. And it sounds like that's kind of what you're talking about
Yeah.
is having a manager who's like, dude, I want to know exactly where you want to go and like let's achieve together,
Yeah.
and like having a better understanding of the people that are working for you. I
Yeah.
would love to do something like that eventually. I just got a lot of hunter left in me before I
You got
settle
it,
down and
baby.
want to pass it along, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know why I just thought of this, but I'm just like thinking of like, you know, we're in 2020. It's, you know, we're in this remote working environment and like, you know, the idea of like turning your video on. Like I had a client the other day, an inbound lead that came in and he turns on his video and I'm like I wasn't turning on my video for a while and so I turn on my video and it's like a you know discovery call and he's got a mountain bike in his house. He might
Mhm.
listen to this podcast. Um, and he's got a mountain bike in the back of his house. And literally the first 15 minutes of the conversation, all we talked about is bikes, because like we
Yeah.
already had this like connection, you know. And so I feel like we're entering this new realm of like let's get like really personal with people, and like let's remove some of the bullshit, you know. Let's remove some of like the salesy stuff. Like let's have like people are craving personal connections in sales and management and the work life. Like us millennials, like coming to work and like getting a paycheck is just not like enough anymore. Like we want people to actually like I don't know about you, but I expect like my employer to really care about me personally and like want to like push me in a direction that is going to be like beneficial for like the future. And I'm not sure everyone's caught on to that, but it's the future.
Yeah, man, personal connections are everything. I think you nailed it too. And COVID may have even exacerbated people's need for personal connection.
Hmm.
We get inundated with so much
Yeah.
that we need to consume constantly.
Hmm.
And a big caveat to that is we lose some of the personal connection.
Yeah.
And so when you have someone that's calling you and they're saying like, you should do this, and here's, they're trying to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt and all
Hmm.
that, rather than coming from like an empathetic spot of like, hey, what are you trying to achieve? Like, I'm an industry expert, right? That's like how I want to be as an account rep. I want to be an absolute expert in my industry.
Yeah,
And
that's
that way I
tight.
can teach people. Sometimes they don't
Yeah.
even know what their challenges are. And they may
Yeah,
come to you
that's
with
tight.
one thing, and then you're like, oh man, like, have you thought of this, this, and this? And if you've already built real rapport with them and they feel like you're a genuine person, they're going to be a lot more receptive and trusting to know that like you're not just trying to pull them in and extract more money, but you're actually trying to provide more value. And
Yeah,
like that's absolutely essential to sales moving forwards. And it's
that's
not as
tight.
much of a volume game as it used to be, and just
Yep.
like hacking out emails and just trying to like write sales scripts. It's like, man, can you just connect with a person one on one? Because that's going to do you wonders, right?
That's good, man. Love it. What kind of advice would you give anyone coming into the role? Top 3 things. You can have
Top
four.
three
You can have
things.
four and you can have two, but I'm gonna give you the advice of giving me 3.
All right, I'll take it. Number one, I would say, so you're saying brand new into the role.
Brand new into the role. First SDR job.
First SDR job. Number one, find out who's good at what. There's so many different tools you have to use, so many different ways of doing outreach. There's so much going on within your company. Find out who's good at what so you know who to direct your questions at when you need something. If you have 10 people that are top of mind that are all good at different things, anytime you have a question about your CRM, you know you can ping this person and they'll know exactly what to say and they can walk you right through it. So finding out who are your resources internally is absolutely essential.
Side.
I'd say number two is building your personal brand, just for yourself and within your organization. I think the SDR role is a means to an end for a lot of people. They're
Yep.
they're just using this as a stepping stone,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like when I mentioned do something remarkable, like what is your personal brand? Who are you going to be at this organization? I think is essential. And then number two, it's like, dude, shut up and do the work, man. Like
Shut
it's
up
gonna
and do the
suck.
work.
They're going to change the comp plans. They're going to raise your quotas.
Yeah.
They're going to take
Yep.
away tools. They're going to change the process. You can only
Yeah.
do these calls. You can only do this. You got to go to these meetings. It's like, man, things are going to be changing. You're very
Yep.
low on the food chain. Like, shut up, do the work.
Love it.
Do not like raise a bunch of, red flags or, cause a bunch of ruckus because things aren't exactly as
Yep.
you want them. Like, you are here to serve and like earn your stripes.
That's tight.
So that's what I'd say, man. Find your resources, build your personal brand, shut up and do the work, and you should be pretty successful.
James, dude.
Mic drop, baby.
Dude, you are insane. Thanks so much for coming on the show, dude.
For
You're
sure, man.
you're a
I really appreciate
beast.
you having me. Hey, thanks, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, where can people find you if they want to buy your book or someday or get your autograph or
Right. Yeah. No, I am working on a book. It's a ways out. But
sick.
add me on LinkedIn, James Farrow, Farrow. Add me on LinkedIn.
Cool.
Be happy to connect with anybody. And you and I need to connect offline for a second because I want to get you this high performance planner, man. It's awesome. I think you'll really dig it.
Awesome. All right, man. We're gonna sign off. Thanks for coming on the show. Loved it, man.
Cool. Thanks, man. See ya.